In a night illuminated by city lights, a group of entrepreneurs celebrated a multi-million-dollar deal in an exclusive bar. Among them was Chung Ji-yuan, a young financial prodigy whose fortune seemed as infinite as his arrogance. At 30 years old, Chung was admired by many and feared by others, but few people truly knew him. Despite his success, his life lacked something essential: purpose. Everything would change that night because of a simple bet. Sitting at a table surrounded by partners, one of them, visibly drunk, launched a challenge. How easy would it be to conquer someone completely different from us? Do it, Chung. Let's bet you can't make someone outside this world of suits and ties fall in love with you. With his usual confidence, Chung accepted the bet with a dismissive smile. For him, relationships were nothing more than strategic games, and this proposal seemed like a minor challenge. A few feet from his table, Yan Xiaocheng, a waitress who worked long hours to pay for her studies, cleaned tables without imagining that she was about to become the center of this game. Yan was not like the women Chung usually met. She had a radiant energy, a smile that illuminated even the darkest corners of the bar, but her gaze reflected the harshness of life. Coming from a humble family, Yan carried the weight of family responsibilities, balancing studies and work with a determination that few understood. When Chung saw her, something about her captured his attention. Perhaps it was her carefree attitude towards customers, or perhaps the fact that she seemed completely oblivious to the power he projected. Chung decided that she would be his target, the perfect mark to win the bet. "Prepare to lose," he whispered to his friends as he headed towards the bar. Chung initiated the conversation with his characteristic style, confident and charming. "It seems like this place needs a spark of energy, don't you think?" Yan, without looking up, replied dryly, "If you have an order, say it. I'm busy." Surprised by her lack of interest, Chung felt that the challenge would be more complicated than expected. But far from being discouraged, this only fueled his determination. In the following weeks, Chung frequented the bar more regularly than his schedule normally allowed. Each visit was another attempt to decipher the mystery surrounding Yan. Although at first their interactions were brief and professional, Chung began to show a genuine interest in getting to know her. He discovered that Yan was not only hard-working, but also incredibly intelligent and passionate about life, qualities that intrigued him deeply. For her part, Yan didn't know what to think of this persistent customer. Although his appearance and sophisticated attitude set him apart from others, she maintained an emotional barrier, distrusting his intentions. However, Chung began to show a side of himself that few knew, a man capable of listening, learning, and adapting. One night, when the bar was about to close, Chung offered to help Yan with the cleaning tasks. She, surprised by the gesture, finally gave in and allowed him to accompany her while they talked. It was at that moment that Chung revealed a glimpse of vulnerability. He talked about how, despite his success, he often felt that something was missing in his life. Yan, in response, shared some stories of her personal struggles, revealing an inner strength that Chung had never seen in anyone else. Without realizing it, the bet that had started as a frivolous game was turning into something much more significant. Chung no longer saw Yan as a simple challenge, but as an extraordinary person who made him question his priorities and values. But as his feelings evolved, so did his guilt. He knew he had to confess the truth about the bet, but he was afraid of ruining what was beginning to build between them. Fate, as always, had its own plans. One night, as Yan returned home after work, she found an envelope with her name on the bar. Inside was a note from Chung. "There's something I need to tell you. See you tomorrow, right here." Yan, intrigued, wondered if she was finally ready to give a chance to someone who seemed so different from her. That night, they both dreamed of what could be. But while one saw hope, the other feared the consequences of his past decisions. The bet, which had initially been a source of fun, now hung over them like a shadow. Chung was about to discover that the real bets in life are not won with money or strategy, but with sincerity and courage. The next day arrived with a mix of anticipation and nervousness for Chung Ji-yuan and Yan Xiaocheng. Both were at a decisive moment, albeit for completely different reasons. Chung knew he had to be honest about the bet if he wanted to build something real with Yan, while she, unaware of the real motives behind his attention, was beginning to contemplate the idea of opening her doors to someone new. When Yan arrived at the bar that night, she found Chung waiting for her at a table in the back, away from the usual hustle and bustle. He was dressed more casually than usual, something that did not go unnoticed by Yan. "Why are you so dressed up? Is it a special occasion?" she asked with a sarcastic tone. Cheng replied with a slight smile and a gesture indicating that she should sit down. The conversation began awkwardly, with Chung avoiding the main topic. He asked about her day, about her studies, and Yan, although surprised by his behavior, responded with the same naturalness as always. However, after a few minutes, Chung took a deep breath and let out the words he had been preparing for days. "There is something you need to know. I don't want this to keep moving forward without you knowing the truth." Yan frowned, sensing that something important was coming. Chung, with a voice full of guilt, explained how it had all started. The bet, the jokes with his friends, and how his perspective had changed since he met her. "I can't justify what I did, but I want you to know that what I feel for you now is real. You have made me see the world in a completely different way," he concluded, with his eyes fixed on Yan's, waiting for some kind of reaction. The silence that followed was deafening. Yan looked at Chung, trying to process what she had just heard. For a moment she felt betrayed, as if she had been a pawn in a game she didn't understand. But at the same time, she saw the sincerity in Chung's eyes and remembered the little things he had done for her, the moments when he had made her feel valued and heard. "And now what am I supposed to do with this?" she finally asked, her voice softer than she expected. Chung, visibly relieved that she hadn't left him immediately, replied, "I just want you to give me a chance to prove that I can be better, not because of the bet, but because of you." Yan, although doubtful, agreed to listen more. That night they talked for hours, exploring the different worlds they came from. Chung told her about his privileged but lonely childhood, while Yan shared the difficulties she had faced to get to where she was. They both found something missing in the other. In Cheng, Yan saw an opportunity to believe in genuine goodness, while Cheng found in Yan an anchor, someone who kept him connected to what was real and human. The days turned into weeks, and their relationship began to transform. Cheng strove to show Yan that he was committed, not only to her but also to becoming a better person. He began to get involved in social causes, something he had never considered before. Yan, for her part, began to trust him more, allowing him to enter aspects of her life that she had kept hidden even from her closest friends. However, not everything was easy. The difference in social classes was still an obstacle, especially when Cheng's friends began to question their relationship. At a meeting, one of them commented, "Are you sure this isn't just a phase? She doesn't fit into our world." Cheng, for the first time in his life, defended something with true passion. "I don't care if she fits into this world. What matters is that she fits into mine." Yan also faced challenges in her own circle. Her colleagues and friends began to notice her closeness with Cheng and were quick to comment. "Do you really think someone like him will stay with you?" they asked her one night at work. Although the words hurt her, Yan decided not to let the prejudices of others define her relationship. A turning point came when Cheng invited Yan to a charity gala organized by his company. For Yan, it was a completely new world, halls full of wealthy people, superficial conversations about investments and art, and the constant feeling of not belonging. However, Cheng stayed by her side, proudly introducing her as his companion. "She is the reason why I am reconsidering many things in my life," he said in a conversation, leaving everyone surprised. That night, as they returned home, Yan confessed to Cheng how she had felt. "I don't know if I can fit into your world. It's too much for me." Cheng, taking her hand, replied, "I don't need you to fit into my world. I just want you to be part of my life." With each passing day, Yan and Cheng grew closer, building a connection that defied the expectations of everyone around them. But despite their growing love, they both knew that the greatest challenges were yet to come, and that the past had a disturbing way of returning when they least expected it. As Yan Xiaocheng and Cheng Jiyuan navigated the waters of their relationship, fate was preparing to throw a storm at them that would test everything they had built. Although their connection had strengthened, social differences and prejudices were not the only obstacles in their way. There was a secret buried in the past, one that not only threatened to destroy their relationship, but also to redefine who they were and where they came from. It all started with an unexpected visit. One afternoon, as Yan was leaving the bar, an elegantly dressed woman approached her. "You're Yan Xiaocheng, right?" she asked with a tone that wavered between courtesy and disdain. It was Cheng's mother, the powerful and controlling Huo Yuzhen. "I'd like to talk to you," she added, handing her a card with an address and time. Yan, intrigued and a little nervous, accepted the invitation, not knowing that this meeting would be the beginning of a chain of devastating revelations. At the Cheng mansion, Huo Yuzhen was direct. "I know who you are, and I also know that you don't belong in this world." Her words, although harsh, were loaded with cold logic. Yan tried to defend herself, but the woman continued. "Don't misunderstand me. I'm not here to judge your character. In fact, I admire your courage and work ethic, but you and my son have no future together. No matter how hard Cheng tries, you will never be able to fully fit into his life." Yan, although hurt, did not let Huo's words break her. "I'm not with Cheng for his money or his position. I'm with him because I love him. And if that's not enough for you, then I don't know what will be," she replied firmly. However, before leaving, Huo dropped a bomb. "There is something you need to know about your past, something that involves my family. Perhaps when you find out, you will understand why you should never be together." Huo's words tormented Yan in the following days. Although she tried to focus on her routine, she couldn't help but wonder what she had meant. Finally, her curiosity led her to investigate. Yan remembered a traumatic event from her youth, the traffic accident that had claimed her father's life. Although the case had been closed as a simple accident, she had always felt that there was more to it than met the eye. With the help of an old family friend, Yan began to investigate. She discovered that, years ago, the Cheng family had been involved in a controversy related to the university she and Cheng attended. During the admission process, documents and records had been exchanged to benefit certain students, one of whom turned out to be Cheng. As a result, Yan, who had originally been accepted into her first-choice program, ended up being diverted to another faculty. The day of her father's accident, he was on his way to the university to file a formal complaint about the manipulation of the records. Although there was no direct evidence connecting the Cheng family to the accident, Yan could not ignore the coincidence. Every piece of the puzzle seemed to point to the same conclusion. Cheng's family had changed the course of her life in a way she would never have imagined. Shattered by the revelation, Yan faced a dilemma. On the one hand, she loved Cheng and knew that he was not responsible for his family's actions. On the other, the betrayal and pain she felt were too intense to ignore. She decided to confront him, desperately hoping that he could clarify what had happened. When Yan told Cheng everything, he was stunned. He had no idea what his mother had done in the past, and, like Yan, he felt betrayed. However, instead of distancing himself, Cheng promised Yan that he would do everything possible to remedy the damage. "I can't change the past, but I will do everything in my power to make our future different," he told her, his eyes full of determination. Despite Cheng's words, Yan couldn't help but feel caught between her love for him and the weight of what she had discovered. The days turned into weeks, and the tension between them grew. Cheng, desperate to prove his commitment to her, tried to mediate with his mother, but Huo Yuzhen, instead of giving in, intensified her opposition. Finally, in a heated argument, Cheng confronted his mother. "You can't control my life. Yan means more to me than any fortune or legacy. If you really love me, leave her alone." But Huo, instead of backing down, revealed her greatest fear. "You don't understand, Cheng. It's not just about the two of you. If she ever finds out the whole truth, you will never be happy together." Huo's confession left Cheng even more confused. What else could his mother be hiding? Determined to uncover the truth, he began to investigate on his own, while Yan, feeling overwhelmed, withdrew further from the relationship. Despite their efforts to stay together, the past kept raising barriers that seemed impossible to overcome. The shadow of the past had fallen upon them, and although their love remained strong, the wounds that had been opened threatened to tear them apart forever. In the midst of it all, Yan made a decision to protect Cheng from her own family, even if it meant sacrificing herself. The relationship between Yan Xiaocheng and Cheng Ji-wan teetered on fragile ground. The love they shared, though deep, faced forces that threatened to tear them apart. The truths of the past had become an unbearable weight for Yan, while Cheng, now aware of his mother's actions, was determined to keep Yan by his side. But sometimes, even the strongest love cannot withstand the weight of certain sacrifices. After the confrontation with his mother, Cheng felt that time was a luxury they couldn't afford. He wanted to show Yan that his commitment was unwavering, so he began to plan a gesture that would show how much she meant to him. He decided to propose marriage, hoping this step could erase any doubts about his feelings. Yan, however, was dealing with her own emotional storm. One afternoon, as Yan finished her shift at the bar, she received a message from Cheng asking her to meet him at his apartment. When she arrived, she found him surrounded by candles and flowers, a completely unexpected scene. Cheng, with a nervous smile, knelt before her and pulled out a small velvet case. "Yan, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Despite everything we've faced, I know that the only thing that truly matters is you. Will you marry me?" Yan, overwhelmed with emotion, didn't know what to say at first. She loved him, that was undeniable, but the wounds of the past were still fresh. With tears in her eyes, she replied, "Cheng, this means so much to me, but I can't accept, not until we resolve what's between us." Cheng tried to convince her, assuring her that together they could overcome anything, but Yan stood firm in her decision. "This isn't just about us, it's bigger than us, Cheng. I need time to understand what to do." In the following days, Yan made the decision to temporarily distance herself from Cheng. She felt that, although her love was real, she needed space to decide if she could move forward, knowing what she knew about her past. Cheng, though devastated, respected her wish and promised to wait for her. "No matter how long you need, I'll be here," he assured her. But fate had more surprises in store for them. A few days after their temporary separation, Yan discovered something that would complicate things even further. She was pregnant. The news left her in shock, unable to decide whether to tell Cheng. On one hand, she knew he deserved to know. On the other, she feared that this revelation would force him to stay with her for the wrong reasons. Finally, she decided to talk to Cheng. She found him in his office, busy but clearly happy to see her. Before she could speak, he said, "I've been thinking a lot, and I want you to know that I'll do anything to make this work. If I need to confront my mother again, I will." Yan interrupted him, unable to hold back her tears. "Cheng, I'm pregnant." The news left Cheng stunned, but he quickly recovered and smiled. "This changes everything. Now more than ever, we need to be together. No matter what happens, we'll face this as a family." But Yan didn't share his enthusiasm. "It's not that simple," she replied, her voice breaking. "This baby can't grow up in the middle of so much conflict. We need to find a solution that works for everyone." While Yan dealt with this new reality, Huo Yuzhen did not remain idle. Upon learning of the pregnancy, she confronted Yan directly. "You can't use this child to manipulate my son," she said with coldness in her tone. Yan, without losing her composure, replied, "I would never do that. But this child deserves a life free of drama and resentment, and I will do whatever it takes to ensure that." Yan made a heartbreaking decision to ask Cheng for a divorce. She knew it would be painful, but she believed it was the only way to protect him and their child from the chaos that surrounded them. When she told him, Cheng was devastated. "I don't understand why you're doing this. Don't you see that we can overcome anything together?" But Yan remained firm. "This isn't just about me. It's for our child. I want them to have a peaceful life, without conflict or resentment." The morning of the divorce was an ordeal for both of them. As they sat before the judge, neither could hold back their tears. Cheng tried once again to stop her, begging her to reconsider. But Yan simply said, "This is for the best for us. Please understand that I love you too much to keep hurting you." That night, Yan packed her things and moved to a small apartment away from the city center. Meanwhile, Cheng returned to an empty house, feeling like he had lost the most important part of his life. But even in the midst of their pain, they both knew that this was not the end. There was a small hope, a possibility that one day they could rebuild what they had lost. Love often requires sacrifices, and sometimes those sacrifices are so great that they seem insurmountable. But even in their separation, Yan and Cheng knew that their story was not over. They had planted the seeds of something bigger, something that could blossom when the time was right. The days following the divorce were an emotional whirlwind for Yan Xiaocheng and Cheng Jiyuan. Both were trying to adjust to their new lives, but the emptiness they felt was undeniable. Cheng, deeply affected by the loss, immersed himself in his work as an escape mechanism, while Yan, now focused on her pregnancy, struggled to maintain calm and emotional stability. Although they tried to stay apart, fate had other plans. One day, while Cheng was reviewing some documents in his office, he received an unexpected email. It was from Yan. It contained a short note and a photograph of their baby's ultrasound. "I just wanted you to know that they are healthy. I don't expect anything from you, but I thought you deserved to know." Cheng, upon seeing the image, felt a mixture of emotions: joy, sadness, and above all, a renewed sense of purpose. That same night, Cheng made a decision. He was not going to let the past define his future. He set out to prove to Yan that they could overcome any obstacle together. He hired a team of lawyers and began to investigate ways to resolve the legal and personal issues that had separated them. At the same time, he began seeing a therapist, hoping to better understand his own emotions and learn to support Yan in a more effective way. Meanwhile, Yan was facing her own challenges. Although she had convinced herself that separation was for the best, she couldn't help but miss Cheng. The lonely nights made her question if she had made the right decision. But every time she felt the life growing inside her, she remembered why she had done it. She wanted to give her child an environment filled with peace and stability. One night, while walking through the park near her apartment, Yan ran into Cheng. He was sitting on a bench looking at the night sky. Upon seeing her, he stood up and smiled at her, although his eyes reflected deep sadness. "I didn't expect to see you here," said Yan, trying to maintain her composure. Cheng replied, "I've been coming here every night, hoping to see you." The conversation that followed was honest and emotional. Cheng told her about the steps he had taken to change, and his commitment to building a future together, free from the shadows of the past. "I can't change what happened, but I can promise you that I will do everything possible to make sure you and our child have the life you deserve," he said. Yan, although moved, still had doubts. "It's not just about what you do, Cheng. It's the whole weight of what we've been through. I don't want our child to grow up feeling like they are trapped between two worlds." Cheng, with a firm voice, replied, "They don't have to be between two worlds. We can create a new one together." In the following weeks, Cheng continued to demonstrate his commitment. He organized a meeting with his mother, Huo Yuzhen, to directly address the conflicts of the past. Although the conversation was tense, Cheng made it clear that he would not allow her actions to continue interfering in his relationship with Yan. "If you really love me, Mum, you have to understand that Yan and our child are my family now," he said. Huo, though reluctant, began to show signs of remorse, finally understanding the impact of her decisions. On the other hand, Yan also began to reconsider. Although she was still afraid of what the future might bring, she couldn't ignore Cheng's efforts or the genuine love she felt for him. She decided to give him another chance, not only for the well-being of her child, but also because deep down she knew that she still loved him. The culminating moment came in the hospital during the birth of their child. Cheng was by her side throughout the process, holding her hand and reminding her that she was not alone. When they finally held their baby in their arms, they both felt that, despite everything they had been through, this was the beginning of something beautiful. In the following months, Yan and Cheng worked together to rebuild their relationship. They attended couples therapy, learned to communicate more openly, and began to plan a future that included both their dreams and those of their child. Although they knew that the road would not be easy, they were determined to face it together. Life is not perfect and the past never completely disappears. But Yan and Cheng had learned that true love is not about avoiding problems, but about facing them together. With their child as their greatest motivation, they were ready to write a new chapter, one filled with hope, love, and the promise of a better future. Thank you for joining us on this story full of emotions and unexpected twists. If you liked it, Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss our next stories. Activate notifications to stay up to date with our news. We would love to read your comments and know what you think of the ending. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.